Part 38. God Level Tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Taido. Chapter 374. Even though Li Hao used the power of thunder, he was still weaker in the collision with Zhao Tianxian. Li Hao also had a heavy look in his eyes. The old man in front of him was the most powerful opponent he had ever encountered. Although Li Hao was not injured, he felt that his body's strength had become extremely restless, and his breath became a little chaotic and unstable. Li Hao. Not far away, when Chu Qing'ai saw this scene, his expression couldn't help but change again, and he even shouted out loud. For some reason, when she saw Li Hao being knocked back, she couldn't help but feel worried. Beside her, Mo Bai's expression also changed slightly. Hearing Chu Qing'ai's voice, he couldn't help but look at Chu Qing'ai again, with a strange color in his eyes. Believe him. Mo Bai suddenly said in a deep voice. At this point, there is no other way but to trust the other party. Chu Qing'ai nodded, her pretty face flushed, and without saying anything else, her beautiful eyes fell straight on Li Hao. I didn't expect that you are actually a cultivator of thunder. But let me tell you, you are no match for me. Zhao Tianxian also looked at Li Hao at this moment, with a strange look in his eyes, and said arrogantly. But after hearing Zhao Tianxian's words, another sneer appeared on Li Hao's lips. Really? That's not necessarily the case. Li Hao said calmly again. Oh? If you have any other trump cards, feel free to use them. When Zhao Tianxian heard Li Hao's words, a strange color suddenly appeared in his eyes. Li Hao's eyes suddenly burst out with a sharp light. Come on fire! Li Hao shouted again. Boom! As Li Hao's voice spread throughout the sky, flames actually fell from the sky. In the entire space, endless flames suddenly rose, and the flames directly covered the space where Li Hao was. At this moment, the entire space turned into a raging sea of fire, and Li Hao stood in the sea of fire, exuding a monstrous power. When everyone around them saw this scene, there was another look of shock in their eyes. Oh my God, it was swordsmanship and thunder just now, and now it's flames. He is actually good at so many attributes. This is amazing. And this flame doesn't seem to be ordinary fire. Phew, I feel like my whole body is on fire. Voices of exclamation suddenly resounded from the mouths of these monks. The spell Li Hao performed at this moment was a divine fire descending from the sky. Li Hao was bathed in the sea of fire, like a flaming king. At this moment, the temperature of the space rose instantly with the appearance of these flames. Rumble. The next moment, everyone was shocked to see Li Hao carrying endless flames and rushing towards the position of Zhao Tianxian again. Is this your trump card? Well done. Let me show you what the gap is. When Zhao Tianxian saw this scene, he shouted coldly again. As Zhao Tianxian's voice fell, Zhao Tianxian's body suddenly had extremely powerful cultivation power released, and the majestic momentum made the entire sky shake. Zhao Tianxian's hands quickly formed seals again. In an instant, divine light suddenly flourished on Zhao Tianxian's body. Strange runes appeared around Zhao Tianxian's body. As the divine light circulated, it condensed into a strange pattern. That's a yin and yang pattern. That is a yin and yang disc. This is a Tao method that Zhao Tianxian has practiced for many years, and it can also be regarded as one of his trump cards. At this moment, the yin and yang disc directly enveloped Zhao Tianxian's body. Immediately afterwards. Boom! I saw the sky full of flames coming towards Zhao Tianxian, but they directly hit the yin and yang disc. The yin and yang pattern kept circling, releasing extremely majestic divine power. Suddenly, a roaring sound resounded in the space. The next moment, everyone was shocked to see that the endless sea of fire was blocked by the yin and yang disc the moment it fell on Zhao Tianxian. Bang! When the endless flames dissipated, Li Hao's figure was knocked back again. On the other hand, Zhao Tianchen was still standing majestically. At this moment, Li Hao had a wisp of blood at the corner of his mouth, and it was obvious that he had suffered some injuries. Li Hao's expression also became a little solemn. But at this time, Zhao Tianchen also looked at Li Hao and said with a sneer, "How? If it comes again, I won't hold back." As soon as Zhao Tianchen's voice came out, it caused another uproar. What? Then Grandmaster Zhao hasn't used all his strength yet? Are you still holding back? He deserves to be the strongest man in Dewa. This is too powerful. So scary. The monks around were shocked by Zhao Tianchen's words. Not far away, Hua Taikong, Qiu Xingyun and others also had deep shock in their eyes at this moment. As for Mo Bai, Chu King Ai and even Sanyang Jinren, Zhou Kunlun and others who had arrived here, seeing the scene in front of them, they couldn't help but worry about Li Hao again, and their whole hearts were lifted. But at this moment, everyone saw Li Hao actually laughing again. Li Hao's smile fell into Zhao Tianchen's eyes, making Zhao Tianchen feel a strange color inexplicably. This guy can still laugh? Could it be that this guy has any other trump cards? Zhao Tianchen couldn't help but frown again. But at this moment, Li Hao's proud voice came out again. It's not even close. Li Hao's voice spread without concealment and fell into the ears of the monks around him, making everyone startled again and doubtful in their hearts. Not even close. Oh my God, he actually said, it's not even close. Where did he get the courage? Aren't you looking for death? How crazy. This time, I'm afraid it's going to be miserable. The sounds of uproar suddenly resounded again. At this moment, Zhao Tianchen's face turned dark when he heard Li Hao's words, and a rare anger arose in his heart. He had been holding back just now, but now he was really angry. Boom. However, it was at this time. Boom. Everyone was shocked to see that there was a strange wave emanating from Li Hao's body, and then, another powerful momentum was released from Li Hao's body. This momentum is even more powerful than Li Hao's just now, and it is even continuing to rise. In an instant, the aura on Li Hao became extremely terrifying, directly making Li Hao reach the middle stage of the divine transformation realm, and even kept rising. In just a moment, the aura released by Li Hao had actually reached the extremely terrifying late stage of the God transformation realm. Oh my God! What a powerful momentum! How could this happen? What secret technique is this? How did his cultivation become so powerful in an instant? HSS. Could it be that he was originally a being in the late stage of the divine transformation realm? How is this possible? At this moment, the aura of cultivation released by Li Hao swept directly across the sky, causing the entire space to vibrate, causing everyone to clearly feel a sense of oppression, and the sounds of exclamations suddenly kept coming. From the mouths of these monks, there were even constant gasps of cold air. Rumble. At this moment, Li Hao felt an extremely powerful force, which directly increased his strength to the extreme. Li Hao even had the illusion of being invincible. So powerful. Li Hao was also shocked by the powerful aura on his body at this moment. He seemed to have broken through directly from the early stage of the God transformation realm to the late stage of the God transformation realm. All the power between heaven and earth is under his control. Is this the Human Emperor Sutra? Li Hao murmured. It was not that he had achieved a breakthrough in cultivation at this moment, but that he had used the Human Emperor Sutra. The Human Emperor Sutra can improve the body's strength within a short period of time. However, Li Hao never thought that this Human Emperor Sutra would be so powerful that he could directly break through 2 levels. At this moment, Li Hao clearly felt that he was a genuine monk in the late stage of the divine transformation realm. Huh? What kind of magic is this? Is it so powerful? On the opposite side, Zhao Tianchen felt the changes in Li Hao at this moment. His expression suddenly condensed, and he said in a deep voice. He could naturally see that this was not the original strength of the guy in front of him. What kind of powerful way was this guy showing at this moment? Law. Zhao Tianquan's expression became a little serious for the first time, and he actually felt a hint of threat from the opponent's strong aura at this moment. How many years has it been since you felt threatened? Zhao Tianquan didn't expect to feel it today. Zhao Tianquan's expression also straightened, and he released all his power of cultivation without any reservation. But at this moment, after Li Hao ran the Human Emperor Sutra, he felt the powerful power, and at the same time, his hands kept forming seals. We must fight quickly. Li Hao knew that his strong state would not last long, and as time passed, he would become weak again. Buzz buzz. As Li Hao's hands continued to form seals, a strange power burst out from Li Hao's body. A powerful Buddha's light appeared on Li Hao's body. At this moment, endless Sanskrit sounds resounded between heaven and earth. Everyone was shocked to see a huge phantom appearing on Li Hao's body. That is a Buddha. The Buddha's whole body is also shining with Buddha's light, filled with a majestic aura that towers over the heaven and earth. Standing there, pointing to the sky and the earth, I am the only one in the sky and the earth. What's that? Did he summon a Buddha? OMG. What kind of Taoism is this? At this moment, countless monks made horrified sounds again, looking at the scene before them, just because the scene was too shocking. When the Buddha appeared, some strange phenomena appeared in the sky, and the phantoms of the fairy palace and temples appeared. The whole world seemed to have turned into a paradise, and the scene was very spectacular. Tathagata Divine Palm. But at this moment, Li Hao's eyes burst out with powerful light. He shouted loudly and directly used the Tathagata palm. At this moment, Li Hao's aura was extremely powerful. The Human Sovereign Sutra made Li Hao comparable to a peak powerhouse in the late stage of the divine transformation realm. Once he used the Tathagata Divine Palm again, he was already many times more powerful than before. Under the Tianshan Mountains, I am the only one who is supreme. A domineering voice came out of Li Hao's mouth, arrogant and incomparable, as if he didn't care about all living things in the world. As Li Hao's voice fell, Li Hao's hand moved immediately, and then he raised his hand directly, turned into a palm, and blasted out. Everyone was shocked by Li Hao's domineering voice. In the shock of their hearts, they were shocked to see that the huge Buddha actually moved at this moment, and then blasted out with a palm. The palm came out, shaking the earth, as if to destroy the world, and instantly descended towards Zhao Tianquan, making everyone feel that the sky was falling. Zhao Tianquan suddenly felt a strong sense of threat in his heart at this moment, and instantly operated the power of cultivation to the extreme. His hands also quickly formed seals, and then the yin-yang wheel on his whole body rotated rapidly again, and then suddenly lifted it up. Suddenly, the yin-yang disc suddenly became larger, bursting out with an incomparable power, and faced the huge palm print. The next moment, everyone saw that the huge Buddhist palm print and the yin-yang disc collided directly, as if the entire space was solidified at this moment. Boom! But then, there was another earth-shaking sound. The whole world was shaking. Ka! But in the next moment, everyone was shocked to see that under the Buddhist palm print, the yin-yang disc condensed by Zhao Tianquan's Taoism actually had a crack. The crack instantly spread out in all directions like a spider web. In an instant, the yin-yang disc shattered. Bang! There was a deafening explosion. Then, there was a destructive explosion ripple that dissipated. Ah! Get out of the way! Puff! The violent energy ripples spread, causing the cultivators not far away to change color. Some hurriedly made spiritual protection, while others did not have time at all and were directly hit by the power, immediately spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. But the next moment, everyone's eyes turned to the place of collision again. When the dust waves in the sky dissipated, A proud figure was still standing there, and the aura of cultivation on his body was still extremely powerful. It was Li Hao. Even at this moment, the effect of the human Emperor Sutra had not dissipated, but the palm just now made Li Hao feel that his whole body was hollowed out. On the opposite side, a figure in a grey robe was also standing there. It was Zhao Tianxian. It can be seen that Zhao Tianxian's position was no longer the same as before. It was obvious that he was shocked back. And at this moment, Zhao Tianxian completely lost the demeanor of the strongest man just now. His robes were torn and his long hair was messy. Puff. At this moment, a mouthful of blood spurted out directly from Zhao Tianxian's mouth. God-level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 375. Zhao Tianxian spurted out a large mouthful of blood, and his robes were somewhat torn. When those people around saw this scene, they immediately let out extremely shocked sounds. Zhao Tianxian was actually knocked back. Oh my god, blood is spurting out. The first Grand Master of Dewa was injured. How is this possible? Shocking sounds continued to resound, and at this moment, the eyes of Hua Taikong and others were filled with deep shock. They are naturally very aware of how powerful Zhao Tianxian is. Even Hua Taikong and Xu Xingyun have never hurt each other when they work together, but at this moment, the guy in front of them has caused the other to be hurt. In other words, the guy in front of him now has the real power to compete with Zhao Tianxian. 1. Even Chu King Ai's beautiful eyes widened, filled with surprise and excitement. Not yet. I just injured the opponent. Next to him, Mo Bai said in a deep voice, but there was also a strange color in his beautiful eyes, and there were ripples in his heart. Zhao Tianxian looked at Li Hao closely, his face had become very ugly, he was actually injured by the other party. No one has hurt me in many years. I didn't expect you to do somersaults here today. Zhao Tianxian said coldly to Li Hao, his expression also became a little solemn. The power displayed by the other party at this moment had already threatened him. However, this immortal human body. I am determined to get it. If that's the case, then you can't blame me. Zhao Tianxian's eyes narrowed and he said sharply again. As Zhao Tianxian's words fell, a cloak actually appeared on Zhao Tianxian's body. No, it was a Taoist robe. I saw that the Taoist robe also had a strange yin and yang pattern painted on it. Boom. At the same time, with the appearance of the Taoist robe on Zhao Tianxian, the aura on Zhao Tianxian actually began to rise again, becoming extremely powerful. The spiritual power between the surrounding heaven and earth involuntarily condensed towards Zhao Tianxian's body. And go. It's the yin-yang robe. Zhao Tianxian obtained that high-grade magic weapon. What? It's actually a yin-yang robe. This Zhao Tianxian actually even took out the yin and yang robe. Oh my god. Has he been forced to this point? The first Grand Master of Dewa actually used magic weapons. This is really shocking. When the monks around saw this scene, they all made uproar again. As we all know, Zhao Tianxian is the most powerful master in Dewa, with extraordinary strength. But at this moment, he was the first to use the magical weapon, which made everyone's eyes widen. Young master, be careful. This yin-yang robe is a top-grade magic weapon. How abominable. A peak powerhouse in the late stage of the divine transformation realm actually uses magic weapons. When Master Sanyang, Zhou Kunlun, and others saw this scene, their expressions couldn't help but change again, and they all said angrily and wanted to fight against the injustice. Li Hao naturally saw this scene, and felt the threat coming from the other party at this moment, which was somewhat unexpected. A high-grade magic weapon. Li Hao murmured, with a sharp light shining in his eyes. Without saying a word, Li Hao took out a few pills from the system world and stuffed them into his mouth. Then, another writing brush appeared in Li Hao's hand. This writing brush was ordinary, but when it fell into the eyes of the surrounding monks, it gave them a strange look. He actually took out a writing brush. What is going on? Are you preparing some letters begging for mercy? This pen seems very ordinary, doesn't it? A series of surprised sounds came out, and many people looked at Li Hao in confusion, not knowing that Li Hao actually took out a writing brush at such a critical moment. You are not the only one who has magic weapons. However, Li Hao didn't pay any attention to the voices and eyes of those around him. Li Hao looked at Zhao Tianxian again and said lightly, After hearing Li Hao's words, Zhao Tianxian's expression suddenly hardened again. He looked exactly the same as before. Zhao Tianxian didn't like this. The other party won't be aimless and has confidence. In other words, the brush in the other party's hand is also a magic weapon? Zhao Tianxian immediately turned his attention to the ordinary writing brush in the opponent's hand. But in the next moment, Zhao Tianxian suddenly felt that there was a power that made his heart palpitate emanating from the brush in the opponent's hand. This writing brush is naturally the judge's pen that was unsealed by Li Hao, and it is also a top-quality magic weapon. At this moment, it was the first time that Li Hao took out the judge pen. A feeling of connectedness suddenly arose in Li Hao's heart. This judge pen had already recognized Li Hao as its owner, and it seemed to contain a consciousness. Boom! The next moment, Li Hao held the judge's pen, and his body's spiritual energy surged towards the judge's pen uncontrollably. Buzz buzz. In an instant, the judge's pen was filled with inspiration. Suddenly, another strange wave was released from the judge's pen. Boom! And the next moment, the brush hairs of the judge's pen exploded, and then auras of light fell in all directions. At this moment, the whole world seemed to be different, as if it was blocked by a force. When Zhao Tianxian saw this scene, a strange color appeared in his eyes, and he immediately felt that something was wrong. When the opponent's brush appeared, the connection between the spiritual powers between the surrounding world and the earth seemed to be severed. Zhao Tianxian sensed something was wrong and made a decisive decision. He exploded with powerful force and blasted directly towards Li Hao. With the robe of yin and yang on him, the cultivation momentum released by Zhao Tianxian at this moment was extremely powerful, even surpassing the state of divine transformation. However, when Li Hao saw this scene, he calmly held the judge's pen tightly. Boom! Li Hao's whole body was also shaken suddenly, and a supernatural power came out of his whole body. I saw Li Hao holding the judge's pen and drawing in the void in front of him, as if he were drawing a circle. But at this moment, a force of rule suddenly emerged. Suddenly, an independent space appeared around Zhao Tianxian's body, shrouding him in it. It was like a prison. Buzz. At this moment, Zhao Tianxian, who was charging towards Li Hao, suddenly paused again, as if being held by an invisible force, which blocked all the power in his body. Even the cultivation base seems to be unable to be used. Draw the ground as a prison. This is the powerful Taoist technique that Li Hao is performing at this moment. It is the extraordinary Taoist technique that was rewarded by the system when the judge's pen was unsealed. It is now being used by Li Hao, finally showing its terrifying power. Break. Li Hao muttered something while holding the judge's pen and pointing it towards the void in front of him. In an instant, I saw that the prison that enveloped Zhao Tianxian was shattered at this moment. Bang! At the moment when the prison was shattered, Zhao Tianxian's body was hit hard and fell backwards like a bird with broken wings. Judge pen, direct judgment. A large mouthful of blood spurted out from Zhao Tianxian's mouth again. Zhao Tianxian's eyes were filled with deep horror. He felt as if he had walked through the gates of hell and was being judged. Zhao Tianxian is no longer what he was before, even the yin and yang robes on his body are a little dim, and his aura is no longer there. At this moment, Zhao Tianxian's aura also became extremely weak, and his physical strength was at a loss. What kind of magic weapon is this? How can it be so powerful? Zhao Tianxian looked at Li Hao in shock, his face extremely pale. The next moment, a figure appeared in front of him, and a brush appeared in front of his eyes. The tip of the brush was facing his eyebrows, but it revealed an unparalleled power, as if with just a slight movement, it could end his life. Zhao Tianxian stood there blankly at this moment, but he did not dare to move. Looking at the young man in front of him, a sense of darkness arose in his heart. I'm defeated. The next moment, Zhao Tianxian said slowly again. As soon as these words came out, Zhao Tianxian's aura weakened again. If he suffered a huge blow, it would be very difficult to admit defeat. Hiss. Zhao Tianxian was actually defeated. OMG. The sky is going to change. The first Grand Master of Dewa has been replaced. The first Grand Master of Dewa, Li Hao. The monks around saw the scene and heard Zhao Tianxian's words, and they all said in shock. Starting today, the number 1 Grand Master of Dewa has been replaced. Everyone turned their attention to the young man, with awe in their eyes. The young man named Li Hao defeated Zhao Tianxian, the first Grand Master of Dewa. From today on, he is the first Grand Master of Dewa. Li Hao's name is destined to spread throughout the world in a short period of time. 1. Really 1. At this moment, Chu King I could not hide his excitement and said in surprise. But at this time, Mo Bai suddenly thought of something and came directly to the front of the coffin. Without hesitation, Mo Bai opened the lid of the coffin. What is she going to do? Isn't this her master? She actually opened the coffin. Isn't this disrespectful? When everyone around saw Mo Bai actually opening the lid of the coffin, they couldn't help but be surprised and wondering what Mo Bai was going to do. But at this moment, Mo Bai actually had an ethereal aura, and there was a spiritual light flowing around her body, and she was mumbling words, as if she was reciting some spell, and she didn't know what she was doing. However, everyone saw another small ball of light emerging on Mo Bai's forehead, and then headed directly towards the body in the coffin. The next moment, the ball of light seemed to be sucked by a strange force, and then fell directly onto the brow of the stunning woman's body in the coffin. At this moment, there seemed to be a slight fluctuation in the body in the coffin. But at this time, buzz. Suddenly, Li Hao's eyes widened and he saw a big exclamation mark appearing on the body. Holy shit, hint. It actually appeared again at this time. And this reminder is actually still on the body of this stunning woman. What's going on? Li Hao immediately clicked on the exclamation mark. Suddenly. Ding dong, this is the body of an immortal, and it is in deep sleep. Don't miss it if you pass by, click downward arrow to get more tips. The system's prompt sounded in Li Hao's mind. Li Hao was shocked again when he heard this sound. The stunning woman in the coffin in front of him was not dead, but sleeping? Oh my god. You know, this woman is the founder of the Yaokai Immortal sect, a figure from 1,000 years ago, and she is also a real immortal. Then, Li Hao directly clicked on the downward arrow. Then, the money in the bank account was automatically deducted by the system. However, Li Hao now doesn't care about this little bit of money at all. We are all masters, and we still care about some things outside of our body. Ding dong, the sleeping beauty's soul is incomplete, and her soul is sealed in 4 keys. Wait for the destined person to get it and wake her up. To get the awakening method, please click downward arrow. Suddenly, the system prompt sounded, and Li Hao couldn't help but concentrate again. The soul is incomplete, in the 4 keys. Li Hao remembered that when he came in before, the key seemed to be broken directly, and there was a spiritual light entering his body at that time, but he didn't feel anything strange. Could it be that the spiritual light is the soul power of this body? The action that Mo Bai did just now was. Li Hao suddenly thought of it. But at this time, Mo Bai came to Li Hao again, but his eyes fell on Zhao Tianchen on the ground in front. Squeak. The next moment, Mo Bai's body suddenly began to operate again. Mo Bai's jade hand moved twice in the void, and then fell directly on Zhao Tianchen's eyebrows. This Mo Bai seemed to be performing her Yaokai Xianzong's unique skills. Li Hao did not stop it, and watched the scene quietly. At this moment, Zhao Tianchen was severely injured by him and had no resistance at all. In the next moment, Li Hao saw that with the finger of Mo Bai, a ball of spiritual light slowly appeared between Zhao Tianchen's eyebrows, and a wave of soul came from the spiritual light. Then, the spiritual light was guided by Mo Bai and went to the body of the woman in the coffin. Then, it directly entered the body of the woman. Buzz. Suddenly, the woman's body seemed to have a strange wave. The next moment, this Mo Bai looked directly at Li Hao again. Can I trouble you again? Mo Bai said weakly to Li Hao again, with a hint of hope in her beautiful eyes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 376. Excuse me? When Li Hao heard Mo Bai's words, his heart froze again. He already thought about what Mo Bai wanted to do, which was to let him give up the soul power contained in the previous key. However, Li Hao really didn't realize where the soul fragment that had entered his body was located, and Li Hao didn't feel anything strange at all. You say? Li Hao said directly to Mo Bai. Can you let me draw out the soul power from your body? Mo Bai immediately said to Li Hao again. Li Hao said nothing and looked at Mo Bai calmly. Please. Mo Bai immediately said to Li Hao again, with a look of begging in his eyes. Why should I trust you? Li Hao said to Mo Bai again, some people just said that as long as I stop him, they are willing to agree to any conditions. I haven't said the conditions yet. In front of him, when Mo Bai heard Li Hao's words, he couldn't help but was shocked again, and his expression changed slightly. What conditions do you want? Mo Bai looked at Li Hao and asked again. When Li Hao saw this scene, he immediately laughed again and said slowly. I want you. Ah. When Mo Bai heard Li Hao's words, he suddenly let out a sound of surprise, and his expression suddenly changed. She had actually thought of it before. Mo Bai's pretty face has become a little pale, but she has still retained her virginity for so many years. Now, are you actually going to hand over your body? For many years, Mo Bai looked down on any man and was very proud. Good. But the next moment, Mo Bai said directly. Agreed. She actually agreed. Senior sister, you. Even Chu King Ai next to her opened her eyes wide and looked at her senior sister in disbelief. This proud senior sister actually agreed. How could this be possible? Mo Bai ignored Chu King Ai beside him. With the power of cultivation, he pointed at his eyebrows, and a drop of bright red blood appeared directly in Mo Bai's hand. It was a drop of blood, containing the pure power in Mo Bai's body. At this moment, with the appearance of this drop of essence and blood, Mo Bai's aura actually became a little weaker at this moment. I, Mo Bai, swear that from today on, I will become Li Hao's woman. My body will be hers, and my death will be her soul. If I violate this oath, I will be destroyed by heaven and earth, and my soul will be scattered, and I will never be reincarnated. The next moment, there was determination in Mo Bai's eyes. He actually swore directly to the sky and formed a seal with his jade hands. Suddenly, a strange power emerged from his body. Then Li Hao saw, the drop of blood essence in Mo Bai's hand suddenly dissipated. Buzz buzz. A strange wave was born again, like invisible runes on Mo Bai's body. In the dark, it seemed that a transcendent power above the heaven and earth was born in this space. The netherworld of heaven and earth seemed to be immobile. Witness to the oath. The oath of heaven. She actually swore an oath of heaven. Holy shit, a grandmaster beauty just became his woman. When the monks around saw this scene, they couldn't help but exclaimed again. At this moment, the oath Mobi made was clearly an oath of heaven made based on his essence and blood. This oath cannot be broken once it is made. If there is any violation, just like the oath Mobi swore, he will be destroyed by heaven and earth, his soul will be scattered, and he will never be reincarnated. Li Hao's eyes widened. Are you so happy? I actually just said that. I was joking. Li Hao said calmly to Mobi. When Mobi heard Li Hao's words, he frowned and stared at Li Hao. The oath of heaven has been made and cannot be broken. No matter what, you can only follow it. Do you believe it now? Mobi said to Li Hao again. Li Hao was speechless. Come on. Li Hao said directly. When Mobi heard the words, she immediately activated her cultivation power again, and then used her special method from the Yaokai Immortal section. Then she pointed it at Li Hao's eyebrows, and then the power of divine consciousness entered Li Hao's body. Perceiving in it? But after a moment, Mobi frowned again. No, how come there isn't? Mobi's eyes widened and he said in disbelief. She used the power of her spiritual consciousness to sense Li Hao's body, but she did not feel the existence of the remaining soul power of her master. How so? This guy clearly has two keys in his body, and when he came in before, he must have entered the other person's body. Mobi's pretty face changed color, and she looked at Li Hao again. If there is no fragment of the master's soul in the opponent's body, then all the efforts will be in vain, and the master will not be able to wake up. It was difficult for Mobi to accept this. Haha. Let me try it. When Li Hao saw Mobi's appearance, he laughed again and said slowly. Are you coming? Mobi looked at Li Hao in surprise again. Li Hao doesn't know the secret method of her Yaokai Immortal sect, so what should he do? Although he was a little confused, Mobi still made way. The next moment, Mobi saw that the young man in front of him actually walked towards the coffin in front of him and came directly to the side of the coffin. Li Hao looked at the stunning woman in the coffin, pure and innocent, like the nine heavens mysterious lady, who could not be desecrated, but Li Hao's heart could not help but move again. Then, Li Hao stretched out his hand to the woman in the coffin. What are you going to do? Mobi asked Li Hao with his eyes wide open. Next to him, Chu King Ai and others also looked at Li Hao with a puzzled look. Of course, let her wake up. Li Hao said lightly. Then, Li Hao's eyes fell on the red lips of the woman's body again, and he had made up his mind immediately. I'm sorry. I offended you just to wake you up? That's what the system told me. Li Hao looked at the sleeping woman, put her on the ice platform next to him, and murmured to her, not caring whether she could hear him or not. Just now, he had clicked the down arrow in the system's prompt and knew how to wake the woman up. So, Li Hao made a prompt decision and stopped hesitating. This woman was very beautiful, even when she was asleep, she was still very charming. The next moment, Li Hao kissed the sleeping woman's beautiful red lips. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 377. That's right, Li Hao actually kissed the red lips of the sleeping woman directly, under the gaze of a pair of eyes. The next moment, everyone was shocked to see that Li Hao's mouth was printed on the lips of the sleeping woman. Kiss. He actually kissed her directly. Oh my god, what did I see? The monks around saw the scene and their eyes widened, shocked and unbelievable. Ah! Even the two women, Mo Bai and Chu King Ai, looked at Li Hao in surprise at this moment. "What are you doing, rogue?" The two women widened their eyes and said in a lost voice. This guy actually took their master out and started kissing him. What else could this be but a hooligan? The two women's faces were red at this moment, and they didn't know whether they were flushed or blushing. Damn! Young master is awesome. He even kissed a dead person. But this woman is so beautiful, it's normal that he can't help it. Even Sanyang Genren and Zhou Kunlun and others, when they saw this scene, they also burst into swear words directly, and were really shocked by Li Hao's behavior. When Li Hao heard the voices of these guys, he couldn't help but be speechless again, and even had black lines. But at this moment, he was kissing, and Li Hao didn't have time to care about so much. Li Hao's mouth was directly printed on the woman's red lips, and he immediately felt a cool feeling, which was very soft and comfortable, and felt very wonderful. The next moment, Li Hao couldn't help but tremble again. At the moment when he kissed this woman, Li Hao suddenly felt that there were two strange forces in his body that he didn't know where they came from. The two forces were surprisingly a soul power that made people throbbing, which made Li Hao's soul tremble. Buzz buzz buzz. Li Hao felt his head buzz again, and then the two soul powers actually entered the woman's body through Li Hao's mouth. At this moment, with the entry of the two soul powers, in the body of the sleeping woman, the four soul powers slowly merged and turned into one. Boom! Invisibly, there was another earth-shaking soul wave emanating from the woman's body, which made everyone's spirit tremble and their souls palpitate again. Ye Hongxiu felt that she had slept for a long, long time. Since the man she liked died, her heart was dead. In a daze, I don't know how long it has been. Ye Hongxiu seemed to be dreaming at this moment, and she had a very wonderful feeling in her heart, a feeling she had never had before. In a dreamlike state, she seemed to see the man she liked. She finally mustered up the courage to confess and got a response from the man. He was bathed in the sun, and his handsome face leaned over her pretty face, and then directly imprinted on her red lips. He kissed her, and Ye Hongxiu did not refuse, offering her first kiss. Everything was so wonderful, in the hazy, Ye Hongxiu also responded fiercely. At this moment, Li Hao could clearly feel that the body of the woman in front of him had a touch of life, her mouth moved, and she took the initiative, which made Li Hao feel strange again. Ye Hongxiu felt that she and her lover were lingering, and even her originally pale face had a touch of rosy, and Ye Hongxiu wanted to see the face of her lover clearly. So, Ye Hongxiu slowly opened her eyes. In front of her was a handsome face, close at hand, and his mouth was on her red lips. But this was a strange face. Not her lover. Ye Hongxiu was stunned, with astonishment and disbelief. All kinds of emotions burst out here. But then, there was only a raging anger. In an instant, a terrifying power of cultivation was released from her body. Li Hao was enjoying the beauty of this kiss. Suddenly, he saw that the woman's eyes were actually open. Li Hao was stunned for a moment, and the whole person was instantly struck by lightning. Li Hao was shocked and couldn't help but swear in his heart. Then, Li Hao felt that the body of the woman in front of him had a monstrous power that instantly burst out. Li Hao secretly said that it was not good. His reaction was not slow, but it was still slow. Bang! A supreme power burst out directly from the woman's body, which was beyond the realm of transformation. It was an immortal. Li Hao was too late to react, and the distance was so close. Boom! The whole world was shaken. Li Hao only felt that his body strength was instantly shattered under the opponent's powerful force, and then Li Hao flew backwards. Crush! This is a complete crush. Puff! Li Hao felt as if his body was about to explode and he was about to die. He immediately spat out a large mouthful of blood, mixed with some broken internal organs. Bang! Li Hao's body fell directly to the ground in the distance, right next to Mo Bai. Young master! Young master! When Sanyang Jinren and Zhou Kunlun and others saw this scene, they all changed color. Ah! Lecher! I'm going to kill you. But at this moment, an extremely angry voice instantly resounded between the world. At the same time, a powerful and earth-shaking aura of cultivation emanated from the body of the woman in front, and everyone's mind trembled, feeling a terrifying pressure. What a terrifying feeling! Is this the real immortal? Everyone looked in a direction in shock at this moment, where a woman in white stood, with delicate and sharp features, like a 9-day mysterious woman descending to the earth, but now she looked forward with anger. Ah! The master is awake. The master is really awake. On the opposite side, Mo Bai saw the scene and shouted excitedly. And as this angry voice resounded, everyone was shocked to see that the woman who had just woken up moved at this moment and instantly descended towards Li Hao. Li Hao was stunned by the force, and was severely injured before he could react. If it weren't for his strong body, he would have been killed. However, at this moment, the woman rushed towards him again. Li Hao was shocked again. He wanted to mobilize his cultivation power to resist, but he couldn't muster the strength at this moment. If he was beaten to death like this, it would be too unfair. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 378. Seeing that woman rushing toward Li Hao with earth-shaking power, Li Hao's eyes were full of horror. He was a strong man in the fairyland. He would definitely not be able to stop him. If he was beaten to death like this, wouldn't it be an injustice? Moreover, Li Hao's body had suffered severe injuries at this moment, and he could not use his cultivation power at all. At this critical moment, "Master, no!" A scream suddenly sounded, and a white figure was seen standing in front of Li Hao. It was Mo Bai. At this moment, Ye Hongxiu's movements suddenly stopped. "What did you call me?" Ye Hongxiu asked Mo Bai, but his brows furrowed slightly. At this moment, when she used the power of her consciousness to explore, she already understood the situation of the entire secret realm. Seeing the scene in the secret realm at this moment, Ye Hongxiu couldn't help but feel condensed in her heart. Everything seems to be different. "Master!" Mo Bai shouted to Ye Hongxiu again. "Master, don't kill him. He was the one who made you wake up." Then, Mo Bai said to Ye Hongxiu again. "Huh? Wake up?" Ye Hongxiu suddenly condensed, then looked at the cold jade coffin behind her, and suddenly remembered that she was indeed the one who took the initiative to fall asleep. "How long have I been asleep?" Ye Hongxiu asked Mo Bai again. Mo Bai shook his head and said slowly. "Master, you are the founder of our Yaokai Immortal section. Our Yaokai Immortal sect has been established for more than 3,000 years, and your disciples finally awakened you again." Hearing Mo Bai's words, Ye Hongxiu couldn't help but be shocked again. Has it been more than 3,000 years? Ye Hongxiu's eyes widened, and her mind was greatly shocked. What night is this evening? What year is this year? Ye Hongxiu murmured. "Master, it is already." Mo Bai immediately spoke to Ye Hongxiu again. After talking a lot, he finally understood the general situation. "I see. Sorry, I misunderstood you." Ye Hongxiu looked at Li Hao again and said to him, with a hint of apology, and a rare rosy look appeared on her pretty face. Thinking of the scene just now, Ye Hongxiu's heart was still uncontrollably filled with fluctuations. "I didn't expect that my fairy palace has become a place of opportunity for you." Ye Hongxiu murmured again, but he did not expect that his immortal mansion would actually become a place of opportunity for these monks, and it was also called a secret realm. In the past, it would have been really ordinary. Ye Hongxiu's strong aura immediately dissipated and she did not attack Li Hao again. At this moment, Li Hao finally exhaled heavily, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. The crisis was finally over. Ding dong, congratulations to the host, awakening the beauty of Shen Shen, rewarding you with 100 years of Taoism, and obtaining the Dharma body immortal appearance, 8 parts of the Buddha body. But at this moment, the system's voice suddenly resounded in Li Hao's mind, causing Li Hao to be shocked again. At this moment, Li Hao felt a majestic force entering his body directly. Boom! Immediately afterwards, Li Hao felt that the injuries that had just appeared in his body were healed instantly. At the same time, there was a powerful aura coming from Li Hao's body. The aura was rising and getting stronger. In an instant, Li Hao's cultivation realm broke through directly from the early stage of divine transformation to the middle stage of divine transformation. Breakthrough in place. Li Hao felt that his body was full of power, and he was many times stronger than before. In addition to the breakthrough in cultivation level, another message poured into Li Hao's mind, as if it was engraved in Li Hao's memory and was directly understood by Li Hao. Li Hao felt something in this message, and he couldn't help but be shocked again. Dharmakaya Immortal Appearance. The system rewarded me with the Dharmakaya Immortal Appearance cultivation method. The immortal appearance of the Dharmakaya is a power that can only be exerted by the powerful in the immortal realm, and only the powerful in the immortal realm can release the power of the immortal appearance of the Dharmakaya. It is said that between heaven and earth, there are many kinds of Dharmakaya immortal appearances, and each Dharmakaya immortal appearance possesses the power to destroy heaven and earth. This 8-part pagoda body is one of the many Dharmakaya immortals. Just by listening to the name, you can feel the power of this 8-part pagoda body. Huh? You actually broke through. At this time, the Yehungzio in front of him also looked at Li Hao, and it was naturally obvious that the young man in front of him had actually broken through the realm of cultivation at this moment. The middle stage of the divine transformation realm. At this age, with this level of cultivation, this guy's talent is a bit evil. But in the next moment, Yehungzio once again placed the realization on the people around him. Boom! A powerful force of cultivation began to circulate. Buzz buzz. The next moment, the world seemed to be stirred by a powerful force and trembled endlessly. Immediately afterwards, another bright light appeared between the heaven and the earth, heading towards the bodies of the surrounding monks, directly wrapping the bodies of these monks. That is the power of space. Whoosh! Then, the figures around them disappeared out of thin air, as if being repelled by a force. This secret realm is actually Yehungzio's immortal residence, which is an independent space tempered by Yehungzio. In this space, she is the master. At this moment, it is very simple to directly send these people out. At present, only Li Hao, Yehungzio, Mo Bai and Chu King Ai are left. Let's go out too. There is no good thing in my immortal residence anymore, and there is nothing to give you. Yehungzio said directly again. The things in her immortal residence were almost emptied. Then she drew a line in front of the front, and suddenly an oval door appeared in front of several people. You can go out by walking into this door. Yes. Mo Bai and Chu King Ai nodded immediately. Then, Yehungzio took the lead to walk towards the door again, and Mo Bai and Chu King Ai followed directly. But at this moment, Yehungzio looked at Li Hao again. What's wrong? Yehungzio saw that this guy was still standing there in a daze, and looked at the cold jade coffin. Do you want this coffin? Yehungzio immediately saw the strange color in Li Hao's eyes, and immediately asked Li Hao. Yes. Li Hao nodded heavily. This cold jade coffin should be a good thing. Take it if you want it. Just consider it as compensation for the injury I just gave you. Yehungzio immediately said directly, and directly gave this cold jade coffin to Li Hao. That's great. When Li Hao heard the other party's words, he was shocked again. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Tien Taido. Chapter 379. After getting Ye Hongxiu's promise, Li Hao waved his hand at the cold jade coffin in front of him without hesitation. Suddenly, the cold jade coffin disappeared and was directly collected by Li Hao into the system world. After doing all this, Li Hao walked towards the portal without looking back. Wait. But at this moment, Ye Hongxiu's voice suddenly came again, calling Li Hao. What's wrong? Li Hao asked puzzledly. Remind me, my immortal mansion should have been floating in the void space on duty before. Ye Hongxiu said directly again. So what? Li Hao was still a little puzzled. At this moment, even Mo Bai and Chu King Ai next to him looked at Ye Hongxiu in confusion. What's the problem with floating in the void space? So, after going out, it may not be where you came in before, it may be thousands of miles away from where you think. Ye Hongxiu said slowly again. Ah! Master, are you saying that we are probably not in Dewa anymore? Hearing Ye Hongxiu's words, Mo Bai and Chu King Ai were startled again and asked in surprise. It should be like this. Ye Hongxiu nodded and said. Li Hao couldn't help but frown when he heard the other party's words. Is it possible that we are not in Huiguo anymore? But it doesn't exist. With his current cultivation, the speed is still very fast. Even if he can't travel through space, at least flying with the wind is not a problem at all. It's not a problem to travel 1,000 miles a day. It's okay, I'll go out first. Li Hao said disapprovingly, thinking that this was a trivial matter, and immediately stepped directly into the portal. The next moment, a space force suddenly emerged from Li Hao's body, wrapping Li Hao's body, and then Li Hao disappeared directly. This guy. Seeing this scene, Ye Hongxiu shook his head slightly, and then looked at the two women beside him again. Boom! Suddenly, a powerful force of cultivation started to work, and the powerful cultivation of the earthly immortal realm was released instantly, and then this force even wrapped the bodies of Mo Bai and Chu King Ai beside him. Let's go. Ye Hongxiu said directly, and then took the two of them directly into the portal. Buzz. Immediately, there was a brilliant spiritual light that directly wrapped the three people, and the bodies of the three people disappeared instantly. The entire fairy house suddenly returned to peace, and then it was collected by Ye Hongxiu. Li Hao only felt a flash in front of his eyes, but the scene in front of him had changed. Swish! Endless waves were surging, stirring up waves all over the sky, and the endless deep ocean was in sight, bottomless, boundless, as if it could swallow everything. On the sea. Li Hao looked at the scene in front of him and couldn't help but mutter. Just after hearing Ye Hongxiu's reminder, Li Hao had expected that he would appear far away, but at this moment, he still had a strange look. Because Li Hao didn't know where he was at all. There was an endless ocean in all directions, with no end in sight. Boom! Suddenly, a powerful cultivation power was released from Li Hao's body. Buzz buzz buzz. An invisible force suddenly emanated from Li Hao's body, which was the power of consciousness. Li Hao, whose cultivation broke through to the middle stage of the transformation of the spirit, also had a transformation in his consciousness power, which became much stronger and could sense everything within a range of dozens of miles. However, the next moment, Li Hao was stunned again. Where is this? Li Hao couldn't help but swear, because in his consciousness perception, there was nothing but water. He didn't feel the existence of the continent at all. Forget it. Li Hao muttered again, and then he moved his body and flew in one direction. Li Hao was very confident in his current cultivation, and crossing the ocean was not a problem. Li Hao's speed was very fast, and he appeared several miles away in an instant. After 2 hours of driving, Li Hao had crossed at least 1,000 miles, but he was still on the sea, and apart from sensing some huge monsters under the water, Li Hao did not see any human figures at all. Finally, at some point, a huge cruise ship appeared in front of Li Hao. The cruise ship was like a huge monster, several floors high, slowly sailing on the ocean, with an open-air swimming pool on it, and it was like a moving city. On it, there was a luxurious hotel and a giant water amusement park, which was several hundred meters long. When Li Hao saw this scene, his eyes could not help but condense again. Finally saw someone. Li Hao moved his body and went directly to the cruise ship. Soon, Li Hao came close to the cruise ship. He saw the name on the cruise ship, which was written in the language of Sunset Country, Harmony of the Seas. At this moment, there were many figures on the deck of the cruise ship, and there were also some figures in the giant water park. Men and women, even young and old. However, these men and women, old and young, were basically foreigners with blonde hair and blue eyes. And at this moment, the men were basically naked, while the women were wearing bikinis. Some people were swimming, some were playing in the water, some were lying in the sun, some were drinking, and some were hugging each other passionately and kissing fiercely. The atmosphere at the scene was so lively. Nicole had just swam a lap in the swimming pool and then stood up directly from the pool. With her flowing long hair and orange bikini, her bronze skin was bathed in the sun, and her curves were perfect. In addition, her delicate facial features and tall figure made her look irresistible. This scene made all the eyes around her stare. The next moment, Nicole smoothed her hair and walked towards the place where she had just rested. "Beauty, have a drink." At this time, a shirtless blonde man walked towards Nicole with a glass of wine and said to her, his eyes sweeping over her body without any concealment. Nicole glanced at the man indifferently. The man was sturdy and a muscular man. Nicole didn't refuse, she just picked up a glass of wine and poured it into her mouth. "Do you want to go in and play?" The blonde man said to Nicole again, his voice was explicit and his intention was obvious. The woman in front of him shouldn't refuse, they are all very open-minded. However, Nicole glanced at the man indifferently and said directly to him, "You, no." Nicole looked away indifferently. At this glance, Nicole saw that there seemed to be a figure standing on the sea in front of her. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Tien Taido. Chapter 380. Nicole saw a figure standing on the sea in front of her. Nicole thought her eyes were dazzled, so she immediately rubbed her eyes and looked again. "He's really human." Nicole said in shock, her voice filled with disbelief, how could the person in front of her stand on the sea as if on flat ground? At this moment, even the blonde man next to him saw a figure because of Nicole's actions. Then he looked in Nicole's direction. "A warlock from Dawa." The blonde man also had a strange look in his eyes, and said in surprise. From the other person's appearance and dress, it can be seen that this person should be from Dawa, but only Dawa can stand so strangely on the sea. Only the warlocks can do it. Warlock is a term used by foreigners like the blonde man to call Dawa monks. It is also a special profession. The blonde man in front of him also has an extraordinary identity. He is a member of a large family in the Romantic Kingdom. His family or industries are spread all over the world, and we have industries in many fields, and we are well known in the world. The next moment, the two saw the figure coming directly towards them, and then landed directly in front of them. "Wow, who is that? Why did it fall from the sky? Is he a fairy from the east? Oh my God, where did he come from? Our Harmony of the Seas doesn't just let people come on board." Li Hao's appearance also attracted the attention of many people, and suddenly another exclamation came out. "You must know that this cruise ship is one of the largest cruise ships in the world, and it is also the most luxurious cruise ship. People who can board this cruise ship are rich or expensive, and everyone who boards this oil tanker needs to pay 500,000 yuan. Mijin's money was just allowed to board. At this moment, someone unexpectedly boarded the cruise ship from the middle of the road, which immediately caused a stir. "Hello, are you a warlock from Dawa? How did you come up on the sea? It's really magical." At this time, Nicole said to Li Hao again. Her eyes were bright, and she looked at Li Hao with curiosity. "This guy who suddenly appeared looks pretty good, and feels pretty good." The blonde man next to him, seeing Nicole like this, actually showed some interest in a tall and thin man, and suddenly felt a sense of displeasure in his heart. "Who are you? Are you from this cruise ship?" Ike said directly to Li Hao in a deep voice. "This is the name of this blonde man. His full name is Ike Piage, and he is from the famous Bertrand Piage family in the world." "People. That's right, I'm indeed not from this cruise ship. We just happened to meet each other. How about we come up for a ride? Is there any problem?" Li Hao said coldly, and immediately looked at the blonde man again, frowning slightly. This blonde man actually seemed to have some hostility towards him. As a strong man in the realm of gods, Li Hao naturally felt it clearly. Li Hao looked at the woman in front of him again. She was a beautiful girl with exquisite appearance and extremely attractive figure. Wearing a bikini, she displayed her perfect figure so vividly that people couldn't help but think about it. At this moment, the woman's eyes were full of strange color when she looked at him. In an instant, Li Hao realized that this guy was obviously jealous. "Wow, this is my first time seeing a warlock from Dawa. Handsome guy, you are a warlock from Dawa. So you should be pretty good, right?" But at this moment, the woman named Nicole suddenly said to Li Hao, she had heard that Dawa's warlocks were a very powerful profession. It was said that they could call the wind and rain, and even split mountains and crack the earth. Many magical means. Nicole's family is also very extraordinary and possesses some magical powers, especially the unique perception of a man's blood. At this moment, Nicole's eyes were bright, and with her unique perception, she immediately felt a strong and powerful force of blood from the young man in front of her. This was the first time she felt such a powerful force of energy and blood. If she could get the man in front of her and fuse it with his body, then she would have a special way to obtain some of the other person's energy and blood, thus becoming powerful. Own purpose. For a moment, Nicole felt the powerful energy and blood power contained in the body of the young man in front of her, and suddenly a feeling of excitement arose in her heart. Nicole licked her red lips, wanting it. "Awesome. Haha, what aspect are you talking about?" Li Hao also looked directly at the woman, but said with a smile. "Haha, handsome guy. You are so bad. Do you want us to go have a drink?" When Nicole heard Li Hao's words, she immediately laughed again. She was already very open, but now she was even more blatantly extending the invitation. "How can one drink be enough? Then you have to drink a few more drinks." Naturally, Li Hao couldn't refuse the invitation from the beauty in bikini, so he immediately said directly, "Wouldn't it be nice to talk about life while drinking? Why don't you go to my room?" Nicole said again, her eyes were so seductive. "Extremely happy." Li Hao said with a smile again, "This girl is so attractive that even Li Hao, who is in the realm of gods, cannot restrain his inner impulse." With that said, the two of them headed towards Nicole's room. However, "Stop." But a voice came from behind again, and the voice was from the blonde man Ike. At this moment, Ike looked at Li Hao coldly, his expression becoming extremely gloomy. The woman he fell in love with was actually seduced by the other party, which made Ike feel angry. "Boy, our cruise ship is not one where just anyone can get on, don't you know?" Ike said coldly to Li Hao again. "Oh? Really?" Li Hao said calmly again. Li Hao really didn't know, but he was already here, so what could he do to him? "Of course. I advise you to get off as soon as possible. If you don't get off, I will ask the security guards on the ship to drive you off." Ike said sharply to Li Hao again. As a supergiant cruise ship, the Harmony of the Seas also has a lot of security personnel, and these security personnel are not ordinary people. It is said that the captain of this cruise ship, Jack, is a former 5-star general in the Sunset Kingdom. A powerful superpower who later retired became the captain of the Harmony of the Seas for unknown reasons. In addition to the captain Jack, the ship's security personnel are also all strong, including some with special professions, such as berserkers, sailors, etc. Hearing the words of the blond man, Li Hao frowned slightly. With his current cultivation level, he was not afraid of anyone. Li Hao could see that the body of the blond man in front of him was also somewhat strong, stronger than ordinary people. He is much stronger and should also be a berserker. But this little strength is not enough to crush Li Hao. This guy actually wants to roll him down. Li Hao's expression turned cold and he almost couldn't help but take action. But at this time, bang 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 bang. Not far away, there were figures in uniforms running towards this side. Most of these people were very strong, full of violent power, and some even held weapons in their hands, and their bodies were filled with a powerful aura. A total of 20 people came directly to the open-air water park, and then surrounded Li Hao. The leader was a bald man wearing a black vest and sunglasses, with a very strong body. Just like a big guy. Wow, it's from the security team. The leader is the security captain of this area. This guy arrived suddenly, and they obviously knew about it. As expected of the Harmony's security, they are well trained. It took less than 2 minutes and they actually rushed over. This guy should be expelled, right? Not just anyone can come on our Harmony. Not even if you have money. When those people around saw the bald man appearing with so many people, they immediately exclaimed, feeling that this young man who suddenly appeared was about to be expelled. You know, you can't get on this cruise ship just by having money. In addition to money, you also have status. Tickets for this cruise ship are always hard to get. Many people even started queuing up a few years ago. And this cruise ship will not stop once it sets off. It will only stop when it reaches the end. If it's halfway, no one will be allowed to board it. Boy, who are you? Where do you come from? Get out of here quickly. The bald man looked directly at Li Hao and said sternly to Li Hao. There was a sense of pride in his voice, and he was about to expel Li Hao. Just now, Li Hao's sudden appearance had activated some detection devices on the cruise ship, so Adam rushed here with these men. Adam is the name of this bald man. He is the security chief on duty in this area, and he is also a level 2 berserker. Get out of here? What if I don't? When Li Hao heard the bald man's voice, he said lightly, but there was a sharp look in his eyes. If you don't leave, then we will have no choice but to take action. We will expel you. Adam suddenly said sharply again. Immediately, Adam said to the people around him. Throw him into the sea and feed him to the fish. Yes, Captain. Adam's men around him immediately responded. Boom. In an instant, a powerful aura suddenly erupted from these people, and violent power was directly generated, and they suddenly rushed in the direction of Li Hao. These people all have an astonishing fighting spirit in their bodies, their blood is rising, and they look extremely ferocious. When Li Hao saw this scene, he frowned slightly again. Court death. Li Hao said coldly, but a sharp edge flashed in his eyes. Boom. In an instant, an unparalleled superpower burst out from Li Hao's body. Bang. In an instant, the sky seemed to dim a bit, and an earth-shattering momentum instantly burst out from Li Hao's body, seeming to move the entire space. Bang 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 bang. Immediately afterwards, there were dull sounds that suddenly resounded. The people around were shocked to see that the voices rushing towards the young man were inexplicably blasted away at this moment, as if they were bombarded by a huge force. In an instant, more than 10 figures rushing in the front were directly blasted away. At this moment, Adam saw this scene, his eyes were filled with deep shock and disbelief. He was shocked, and then there was an extremely violent force released from Adam's body, and the momentum was more than one level stronger than those monks around. The second-level berserker is not a vegetarian. In an instant, Adam burst out with an extremely amazing force and blasted directly towards Li Hao. As the security captain of this area, Adam was also very fierce. He had been in the Marine Corps before, and his attack at this moment was extraordinary. Li Hao saw the bald man rushing towards him, and his eyes were sharp again. The power that this bald man burst out at this moment is comparable to that of a cultivator in the late stage of foundation building. Even his physical strength is probably a few points stronger. Get lost! Li Hao shouted coldly, and the sound rolled out like a thunder, shaking the world. Boom! Li Hao moved his body, condensed a punch, and blasted towards the other party. This punch contained the power of Li Hao's cultivation, and it was accompanied by purple lightning, revealing the power of destruction. Boom! The next moment, this group collided directly with Adam's attack. Bang! The violent powers suddenly collided with each other, causing the entire space to shake. Ka! But in the next moment, there was a crisp sound that suddenly rang out, that was the sound of broken bones. The arm of this bald man was actually broken at this moment. Ah! A scream suddenly came out of the mouth of this bald man again. Bang! Then, there was another dull sound, that was the sound of a fist hitting the ground. Then, everyone was shocked to see that this second-level berserker actually flew backwards, blood spurting from his mouth, and his breath was weak and weak. One punch. The opponent only punched, but it severely injured the security captain of this second-level berserker. Shock. Nothing but shock. So powerful. Is this the warlock of Dewa? So powerful. Hiss. When the people around saw this scene, their eyes were filled with deep shock, and the sound of sucking in cold air kept ringing. How is this possible? At this moment, even Ike was frightened by Li Hao's strength, and his eyes widened as if he had seen a ghost. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 381. Everyone looked at the scene in front of them in shock, and were deeply shocked. This Dewa warlock was so powerful that he severely injured the second-level berserker with just one punch. More than 20 security guards were defeated by the opponent in an instant. So strong. This Adam and the others have hit a brick wall. However, this Adam is just a squad leader. This Adam is only responsible for one area. I'm afraid the captains of other areas will soon know about what's going on here. Even though this guy is very strong, the security of the Harmony of the Seas is top-notch. More people will arrive later. All around, the sounds of uproar suddenly resounded again. In front, not far away, Nicole looked at Li Hao, with a strange color in her beautiful eyes. Nicole was even more curious about the magnificent warlock in front of her. But when Ike next to him saw this scene, he felt even more disgusted and felt a chill in his heart. But at this time, on the deck in the distance, there were some figures wearing black security uniforms. There were dozens of figures. Each figure was filled with a powerful aura. The security guards in other areas were also alerted and rushed towards this direction. These people are all berserkers and sailors who are good at water. They are not ordinary people. Among them, there are several figures. The aura released is more powerful than that of Adam before. Soon, these figures directly surrounded the place again. A pair of eyes fell tightly on Li Hao's body, and their eyes were full of vigilance. Who are you? How dare you act wild on our Harmony of the Seas? Don't you want to live anymore? You dare to injure one of our people, are you looking for death? Get him quickly. As soon as these figures appeared and saw the people lying on the ground, the leaders of the group made cold voices and looked at Li Hao with an extremely unkind look. They immediately burst out with full strength and wanted to blast at Li Hao again. Go. Haha. Boy, you are miserable. Even if you are a warlock, so what? Seeing this scene, Ike said coldly to Li Hao. In his opinion, this guy dared to take action just now, which was exactly what he wanted. Now that he has injured these security guards, he has offended all the security guards on the Harmony of the Seas. Ike can already imagine the fate of the guy in front of him. He will be disabled even if he is not dead, and he will also be expelled from the Harmony of the Seas. Li Hao looked at Ike coldly and said nothing, but a faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Really? Believe it or not, I made you miserable first. Li Hao looked at Ike coldly, with a half smile but said slowly. When Ike across from him heard Li Hao's words, his expression couldn't help but change again, and he felt a sense of surprise in his heart. The opponent was so powerful, and if he was the first to attack him, he might not be able to withstand it. Ike suddenly felt vigilant in his heart, and a powerful force emerged from his body to prevent the other party from suddenly taking action. Ahead, the security guards burst out with shocking momentum again and rushed towards Li Hao. Li Hao's eyes suddenly burst out with a cold edge, and he was ready to activate his cultivation power and take action directly. However, at this moment, stop! A majestic voice suddenly resounded in the space, echoing in everyone's ears. As soon as the sound came out, the movements of these security guards stopped one after another. Immediately, everyone's eyes were looking in one direction. At this moment, another middle-aged man wearing captain's clothing appeared with several sturdy figures. When this middle-aged man appeared, everyone was shocked again. He's the captain of the Harmony of the Seas. It's Captain Jack. A former 5-star general. A 5th-level berserker. I didn't expect that. Even he was alarmed. A series of shocking voices suddenly came from the mouths of these people. Everyone recognized it. The middle-aged man who appeared in front of them was Captain Jack of the Harmony of the Seas, the supreme commander of the cruise ship. With thousands of people on and off the cruise ship, he is a genuine level 5 berserker, and it is not an exaggeration to be called the strongest person on the cruise ship. Although Captain Jack is only the captain of a cruise ship, his strength as a 5th-level berserker, coupled with his status as a former 5-star general, and his background are also very powerful, and not something ordinary people can afford to offend. When Captain Jack appeared, he naturally caused quite a stir. Even Captain Jack was alarmed. This guy in front of me is probably going to be even worse. This Captain Jack is very defensive. And he is very powerful. Even some powerful people don't dare to provoke Captain Jack and show courtesy to him. This guy is an outsider and he has injured so many people. Many people made a sound of surprise again, thinking that Li Hao would be miserable next. They knew the reputation of Captain Jack. As the leader of a giant cruise ship, Captain Jack was definitely not a good person. Not only was he powerful, it is powerful and even more prestigious. There were once some short-sighted pirates who wanted to rob the Harmony of the Seas. Captain Jack took action once and killed those pirates in just a moment. Another time, 2 noble disciples had a conflict on the Harmony of the Seas, and even got into a fight, which caused quite a shock. In the end, Captain Jack suppressed them on the spot and expelled them directly. Well, afterwards, the top leaders of the 2 families did not find any trouble with Captain Jack, and the 2 expelled guys even came to apologize to Captain Jack. There are many things about this Captain Jack. In short, this Captain Jack is not only powerful, but also has a very strong background, which is not something that ordinary people can provoke. On weekdays, Captain Jack would not even show his face about what happened on the Harmony of the Seas. He was one of those big shots who never saw the end of the ship. But at this moment, Captain Jack appeared, and everyone couldn't help but feel shocked. Everyone felt that it was the noise that happened here that startled Captain Jack. Everyone also thought that this young sorcerer from Dehua was going to be miserable. However, but at this moment, everyone saw that Captain Jack was walking straight towards the brilliant young warlock in front of him, with a hint of excitement in his expression. The next moment, Captain Jack actually came in front of him. He did not have a strong aura, but it could be seen that he seemed to be trembling with an uncontrollable tremor at the moment. His eyes looking at Li Hao were filled with an uncontrollable feeling. Stated emotions. Bang. Immediately, a dull voice suddenly rang out, and everyone was shocked to see that Captain Jack actually knelt down to the magnificent young warlock in front of everyone. "Master, I've finally been waiting for you. You're finally here," Captain Jack said excitedly to Li Hao. Boom. At this moment, as Captain Jack's actions fell into the eyes of everyone around him, a series of unbelievable voices suddenly sounded from these people's mouths. "Oh my God! Captain Jack knelt down on that guy. What's going on? How so? Master? What kind of master? Who is this guy? What is his identity? He actually made a 5th level berserker kneel down. Oh my God, this is unbelievable. Who is this guy?" Everyone's eyes widened and they looked at the scene in front of them in disbelief. This scene was really shocking. Hey, he is actually Captain Jack's master? How is this possible? Even next to Li Hao, Nicole's beautiful eyes were trembling when she saw this scene. Yin Tao couldn't help but sucked in a breath of cold air, covering her proud chest, and even breathing became difficult. A little hastily, when he looked at the young man beside him, his eyes became a little different. How is this possible? And ahead, when the blonde man Ike saw this scene, his eyes widened and he said in disbelief. This scene was beyond his imagination and shocked him to the extreme. He couldn't believe that the guy in front of him was actually this Captain Jack's master. Ike couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart, and his heart trembled. Li Hao. Li Hao was also staring blankly at the middle-aged man kneeling in front of him at this moment. Li Hao could see that the man in front of him was very extraordinary, and his physical strength was very powerful, even comparable to the middle stage of the Dan formation realm. The strong one. At this moment, Li Hao was undoubtedly a little confused. Owner. Why does this guy call himself master? I don't know this guy at all, I've never seen him before. Is that a mistake? I'm not your master, am I? Did you recognize the wrong person? Li Hao spoke directly to the middle-aged foreign man in front of him. No, there is no mistake. You are my master. Is your name Li Hao? A Chinese? I have seen your photo. Captain Jack immediately said to Li Hao again, his voice filled with incomparable determination. A long time ago, when he became the captain of this cruise ship, he only served the owner of this cruise ship. The owner's personal captain. Jack was naturally very clear about his boss's information. He had seen his boss's photos many times and remembered his appearance deeply in his mind. At this moment, seeing Li Hao's appearance, Jack naturally would not admit his mistake and was extremely excited. No hurry, I'm Li Hao. How do you know? When Li Hao heard what Captain Jack said, he became even more confused and confused. I am your personal captain, and this harmony of the seas belongs to you, the owner. I have been waiting for you for a long time, and you are finally here. Captain Jack suddenly said with great excitement. Buzz. When Li Hao heard what Captain Jack said, he couldn't help but be shocked again. Am I the owner of this harmony of the seas? Suddenly, Li Hao suddenly thought about it again. He remembered that last time, it was a few times before. After he completed the system prompts, the system seemed to have indeed rewarded a cruise ship. Is this the cruise ship that the system rewards? Li Hao murmured, but his heart was extremely shocked. You know, this Harmony of the Seas is at least one of the top 3 ultra-luxury cruise ships in the world, and its value is probably worth tens of billions. It's actually my own. Oh my God, he is the owner of the Harmony of the Seas. This Harmony of the Seas is a super cruise ship worth tens of billions. This is so shocking. He is actually the owner of this cruise ship. Who is he? He is actually a Chinese. Are all the people in Dewa so rich? His. Captain Jack's voice was not concealed at all, and it immediately reached the ears of the people around him. For a while, exclamations kept ringing out, and everyone's hearts were filled with turmoil. I was really shocked by the news in front of me. He is actually the owner of this cruise ship? Isn't this shocking? Even Nicole's mouth was wide open at this moment, her heart was trembling to the extreme, her heart was shaking, and the expression she looked at Li Hao was not only curious, but also unusual. There seems to be something mysterious about this guy. This thought came to Nicole's mind. This is impossible. How is this possible? How can the Harmony of the Seas have an owner? That Ike kept saying at this moment, he couldn't believe this fact. At this time again. Get up quickly. Thank you for your hard work. Li Hao spoke directly to Captain Jack in front of him and helped him up. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's my honor to work for the boss. Captain Jack said very proudly, and then said to the men around him. This is the owner of our Harmony of the Seas, Boss Li Haoli. As Jack's voice fell. Hello boss. Hello, boss. Boss. Suddenly, a series of voices came out from the mouths of the security guards. Even the guys who were beaten down by Li Hao before were shouting at this moment. Except for Adam, his face turned pale. Get over here yet. A voice rang in Adam's ears again, and Adam suddenly saw a pair of cold eyes. Jack looked at him coldly. Adam's heart suddenly condensed, and he dragged his injured body to Li Hao. Boss, I was wrong. Adam immediately knelt down to Li Hao. How dare you attack our boss? I'm tired of living with you. Jack shouted again, a powerful force of cultivation began to circulate, and he raised his hand to strike down with a powerful force. Adam's face was pale, and his heart was even more desperate. Forget it. They didn't mean it either. Li Hao's voice came from the side again. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Tien Taido. Chapter 382. As Li Hao's voice came out, Jack next to him stopped immediately. Jack did not expect that Li Hao would intercede for these people. Yes, master. Jack said to Li Hao. Immediately, he spoke directly to these people. What are you still doing? As Jack's voice came out, excitement suddenly appeared on the originally frightened faces of these people, and they quickly bowed down to Li Hao. Thank you, boss. Thank you, boss. Immediately, these people all knelt down to Li Hao and said gratefully to Li Hao. You should also call me boss. Li Hao said to Jack again, Master, Master, it's too high profile. Okay, boss. Jack echoed. But at this time, Li Hao's eyes looked in another direction. There stood a young man with blonde hair, who was obviously that Ike. When Ike saw Li Hao looking over, his whole face changed color instantly, and his heart skipped a beat. Just now, someone seemed to want to expel me. Li Hao said to this Ike with a half smile. Jack next to him heard Li Hao's words, and his eyes suddenly froze. Boss, who is it? Jack asked immediately, following Li Hao's line of sight, he saw Ike. Boss, is this guy? Jack asked in a deep voice. That's right. Li Hao nodded lightly. What a death wish. This cruise ship belongs to you. It's our honor to have you here. Jack's face suddenly condensed, and he said proudly. Without Li Hao's words, the figures around him had already surrounded this Ike, with an astonishing power erupting from them, and they looked at Ike with an unkind expression. Seeing this scene, Ike's expression suddenly became extremely ugly. "Well, this is a misunderstanding," Ike said directly, a little timid. "What a misunderstanding? How dare you disrespect our boss? Just throw him into the sea." Jack was cold and said sharply again, "Yes." When these men heard Jack's words, they immediately showed fierce expressions and headed directly towards Ike. "Ah!" Ike suddenly turned pale and said in shock, "It's really a misunderstanding." Boom! That Ike's body also erupted with a powerful force of energy and blood, with huge power flowing through his body. He was also a berserker. Berserker, this is a very common profession abroad. At this moment, the aura erupting from Ike was also that of a second-level berserker. "You actually want to take action?" Captain Jack said sharply again. At this time, several of his men moved directly towards Ike. Bang! In less than a moment, this Ike was suppressed forcefully, without even Captain Jack taking action. "I am a member of the Bertrand Piage family. You cannot expel me. I spent $500,000 to get here. Ah! You can't expel me." When Ike was captured, he kept roaring and revealed his identity, which made those around him suddenly shocked. "What? He is actually from the Bertrand Piage family. That Bertrand Piage family with hundreds of billions of assets. AI Nyashi is their family's brand. Damn it, Hernius belongs to their family. How much assets must they have? Is this a real wealthy family?" Shocking sounds kept coming from the mouths of the people around him, and the looks they looked at Ike became a little different. "You must know that the financial resources of the Bertrand Piage family are not comparable to those of other families. When their financial resources reach a terrifying level, their power becomes extremely terrifying. As the saying goes, money can make the world go round. This is the truth." Everyone did not expect that the blonde young man in front of them was actually a member of the Bertrand Piage family. Even if he was not the core, he was not someone who could be easily offended. Haha. People from the Bertrand Piage family? So what? Anyone who dares to be disrespectful to our boss on our Harmony of the Seas will be expelled. When Captain Jack heard what the other party said, he sneered again, with a coldness in his eyes. "Strong. Extremely strong and domineering. Ah. You guys can't do this. You can't expel me. I paid for it. I am a member of the Bertrand Piage family, and I will not make it easy for you. No one has dared to expel the Bertrand Piage family yet." Finally, in the horrified voice of Ike, he was expelled. It wasn't really thrown into the sea, but it was put on a small kayak. Seeing the Harmony of the Seas drifting away, Ike collapsed and wanted to cry without tears. This is the boundless sea, so far away from the land, but he is thrown here now. How should he go back? What could be worse than now? Ah! Just wait. I will definitely kill you. Ike felt a little regretful, but he looked into the distance with resentment, and said fiercely, determined in his heart that if he could go back, he would definitely take revenge. Then, Ike paddled the kayak helplessly and went far away, hoping to meet a ship, take a ride on a favorable wind, and then take him to the mainland safely. Huh. That guy was actually expelled. What about the Bertrand Piage family? On this Harmony of the Seas, Captain Jack and his people have the final say. The tourists around saw that Ike was expelled, and they were shocked again. Everyone's eyes fell on the young man again, with a touch of awe in their eyes, and their hearts could not calm down for a long time. Next, Captain Jack took Li Hao to walk on the Harmony of the Seas and reported some work to Li Hao. When Li Hao learned that the Harmony of the Seas could carry thousands of tourists in one voyage, and each ticket ranged from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. It could earn hundreds of millions of yuan in one voyage. Now, the harmony of the seas has been sailing for several years and has accumulated a lot of wealth. In the Bank of Ruier, there are already tens of billions of assets, and this asset is already Li Hao's personal wealth. In other words, Li Hao's net worth has skyrocketed by tens of billions. In addition to Li Hao's shares in Yuhao Group, Shanshui Group, Hong Kong Company, Yingbi Entertainment Company, Huai Brothers and Sisters Media Company, etc., Li Hao's current wealth has reached an extremely terrifying level. Li Hao did not calculate in detail, but it should be hundreds of billions. Mr. Li, I didn't expect that you are the owner of this harmony of the seas. You are really young and rich. Come, I'll toast you a glass. Under the setting sun, in the magnificent restaurant, by the window, Li Hao was having a meal. On the table was an extremely rich seafood feast, which was specially prepared by Captain Jack for Li Hao. In front of Li Hao, there was a sexy Nicole in a dress. At this moment, Nicole looked at Li Hao with her beautiful eyes, and said to him admiringly, with seductive eyes, and directly raised the red wine glass to toast Li Hao. Li Hao smiled slightly and also raised the wine glass. As a strong man in the spirit transformation realm, Li Hao's perception was so sharp that he could naturally see that Nicole in front of him was not an ordinary woman. However, Li Hao did not refuse. He now needs to sail with the harmony of the seas for 2 days, then go to the nearest big city, and then take a private plane to Dewa. But these 2 days are also quite boring, so it is better to do something meaningful. Li Hao ate seafood while looking at the woman named Nicole in front of him, and drinking a little wine, which was very comfortable. It must be said that this Nicole has a very good figure. Although her bust is not as exaggerated as Linda's, it is not small at all, and her skin color is that kind of bronze, which is very sexy. Mr. Li, do I look good? Nicole felt Li Hao's gaze, and a faint smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. She was quite proud and asked Li Hao without any concealment. Of course. Miss Nicole is the most beautiful woman I have ever added. Li Hao immediately said with a smile. For such an open foreign girl, Li Hao was not modest. Really? Ha. Then Mr. Li, do you like it? Nicole immediately laughed again, and said to Li Hao coquettishly, with seductive eyes. I like it? There is no man who doesn't like it, right? Li Hao said directly again, without any concealment in his eyes, revealing a naked light, falling on the roundness. I wear it like this. If you don't look at it, it would be disrespectful to others. Not only should you look at it, but you should also look at it openly and openly. Do you want it? Nicole looked at Li Hao again and said directly, licking her red lips. That look was simply soul-stirring. I'm afraid that no normal man would refuse it. Li Hao heard what Nicole said, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. So direct? Don't be a coward. Li Hao also wanted to see what Nicole's purpose was. There is no doubt that Nicole took the initiative to stick to him, as if she wanted to eat him, but she didn't want his body purely, she must have other purposes. I want it. Can I? Li Hao immediately said to Nicole again, with a touch of excitement in his expression, like a pig brother, very much looking forward to it. Now, it's time to talk about acting skills. Li Hao's acting skills are at the level of an actor. Seeing Li Hao like this, Nicole sneered in her heart again. Your blood should be delicious. Of course. Go to the room, I'm yours tonight. Nicole said again with a charming voice, and her voice would be very nice. The next moment, Nicole directly grabbed Li Hao's hand, and Li Hao also stood up and immediately hugged Nicole's waist. It was very soft and smooth to the touch, with a unique fragrance. Comfortable. Li Hao was led by Nicole directly to her room. Not long after, the two entered the room. The room was not very big, but it was well decorated, and the floor-to-ceiling windows could see the magnificent sea view. As soon as he entered the room, a pair of jade arms hugged Li Hao's neck, looking at Li Hao affectionately. I don't know if this affection was pretended at this moment. The next moment, Nicole took the initiative and kissed Li Hao directly. However, there was no real kiss. Nicole moved and actually broke away from Li Hao's hands. It turned out to be just a test, trying to catch it. Gee, Mr. Li, how bad are you? I'm not even ready yet. Nicole laughed and said to Li Hao. Just now, Nicole felt Li Hao's hands constantly squeezing her buttocks, which made her pretty face turn a little rosy. Are you ready now? When Li Hao heard Nicole's words, he smiled again. If you have an advantage, take advantage of it. If you don't, it will be in vain. Mr. Li, don't be anxious. Nicole said to Li Hao with charming eyes again. The next moment, Li Hao saw that the dress you were wearing was slowly sliding down, revealing a suffocating snow-white body. Huh. Li Hao's breathing became a little faster. This is a perfect body, without any cover, just exposed in front of Li Hao's eyes. Damn. Li Hao couldn't help but uttered a curse word, his heart felt hot, and his blood couldn't help but surge. Who the hell can withstand this? Does your body look good? Nicole asked Li Hao again. This was the first time she had taken off her clothes so actively, just because the young man in front of her had very strong energy and blood power in his body, and if she could get it, then the power will become stronger, and it may even be able to break through the realm. In Nicole's view, her body is extremely perfect and is a fatal temptation for men. This is also her proud capital. The guy in front of her will definitely be unable to bear it and fall under her arms. When the time comes, she can take advantage of him. It's so beautiful. Li Hao looked straight at Nicole's body and said directly, looking like Brother Pig. Today, I belong to you. Mr. Li, I will help you. Nicole said directly again. The next moment, Nicole was naked and walked slowly towards Li Hao. Soon she was in front of Li Hao again, and then she leaned directly on Li Hao. Li Hao felt Nicole's delicate body pressing against his body, his whole heart was shocked again, and his body couldn't help but feel hot. Who can stand this? Suddenly, a while passed. Nicole's head was buried in Li Hao's neck, but there was a glint in Nicole's eyes. That's almost it? Nicole said silently in her mind, the foreplay is almost over. At this moment, a pair of sharp teeth grew out of Nicole's mouth, and then Nicole bit Li Hao's neck again. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 383. Nicole suddenly grew sharp fangs, and her eyes were filled with a bloodthirsty itch. Taking advantage of Li Hao's unpreparedness, Nicole bit Li Hao's neck directly. Nicole wanted to suck Li Hao's blood. Nicole could clearly feel the powerful blood in Li Hao's body. If she could swallow it, her blood would become stronger and her power would become stronger. Powerful. The reason why Nicole is so proactive is actually this. Seeing it, Nicole's mouth was about to bite Li Hao's neck. But at this moment, a powerful aura suddenly emerged from Li Hao's body, and a thunderous power flowed directly on Li Hao's body. Boom! At this moment, Nicole felt like her whole body had been struck by thunder, and her head was buzzing. Bang! The next moment, Nicole's body was blasted straight out, her perfect body hit the wall directly, and a large mouthful of blood spurted out from her mouth. You. Nicole looked horrified, her face also turned a little pale, and Li Hao said directly in disbelief. What am I? Haha. If you want to drink my blood, you are not qualified. However, Li Hao looked at Nicole indifferently. Before, Li Hao had been on guard for a long time and had been paying attention to Nicole's movements. Sure enough, Nicole took the initiative to strip off her body and put it up for a purpose. Vampire! Li Hao murmured to this Nicole. At this moment, Nicole's appearance was almost the same as that of a foreign vampire, especially the fangs in the other person's mouth were undoubtedly vampire fangs. The last time Li Hao was in Jiangbei, he had seen the vampire, but he was a man at that time, and now he was a woman. I didn't expect that you would find out, Nicole said to Li Hao again. Oh, Mr. Li. I'm kidding you, I just like a man like you. Nicole looked at Li Hao with charming eyes again and said softly to Li Hao. Don't you want it? Come on, I will never resist. Roll. Li Hao, however, glanced at Nicole indifferently and shouted coldly. Oh, Mr. Li, how could you do this? When Nicole heard Li Hao's words, her expression hardened again, but she said with a smile. I say it again, get out. However, Li Hao's voice came directly again, with a coldness in his voice. Nicole's smile suddenly froze, and the next moment a coldness appeared on the corner of Nicole's mouth. Humph. It's so shameless, Nicole said coldly. The next moment, a black hat suddenly appeared in Nicole's hand. Immediately afterwards, Nicole put the hat directly on her head. Buzz. In an instant, Nicole's aura actually became stronger, and she had a strange temperament. Boom. At this moment, a strange wave came from the hat. In just a moment, a thick mist appeared in the whole room. The surrounding scene became a little different at this moment. The next moment, Li Hao discovered that the surrounding scene had changed. He now appeared in a forest. The entire forest was also filled with thick fog, making it difficult to tell the direction. There was a strange atmosphere everywhere. Suddenly, Li Hao saw some dark figures appearing around him. The trees around him seemed to be alive at this moment. Huge eyes grew on the trees, and the mouth kept swaying. In the next moment, these trees seemed to turn into huge monsters, biting directly towards Li Hao. Fantasy. When Li Hao saw the scene around him, he stood motionless. The surrounding scene was like an illusion. Li Hao suddenly lost Nicole's figure in this illusion, but there was another crisis hidden in it. This black hat should be a magic weapon. Li Hao's heart couldn't help but condense again, but a faint smile appeared on the corner of Li Hao's mouth. You don't know my power, Li Hao said lightly, but his voice was filled with extreme pride. As Li Hao's words fell, a terrifying force of cultivation was instantly released from Li Hao's body, shaking the world. At the same time, another bright sword light appeared on Li Hao's body. Boom. The next moment, the majestic sword intent swept out, seeming to cut apart everything in front of him. Crash. In just an instant, the entire forest and the entire world were shattered into pieces. Boom. A roaring sound suddenly sounded. Ah! A scream sounded again from the front. After everything cleared up, Li Hao was still in the room, with Nicole in front of him, but at this moment, Nicole's eyes were full of horror. How can it be so powerful? Nicole was horrified to the extreme. The other party was so powerful that she could not imagine. Her witchcraft actually did not pose any threat to the other party. But at this time, Nicole saw Li Hao's sharp eyes falling on him again, with a sharp edge in his eyes. I'm out of here. I'm out of here, Nicole said quickly. She was really scared at this moment, and after that, she was ready to escape. Too late. At this moment, Li Hao's voice spread coldly again. Boom. A terrifying momentum descended instantly, and the majestic pressure fell directly on Nicole. Nicole felt as if the whole space was frozen, and even her body could not move. Nicole's face changed instantly, and she felt that death was coming. But at this moment, she saw that the young man in front of her actually walked towards her step by step, and came directly in front of her in Nicole's horror. In an emergency, a pair of big hands directly pinched her neck. Woo! A terrifying force directly pinched Nicole's neck, and a feeling of suffocation suddenly filled Nicole's body. No, don't kill me. Nicole blushed and spoke with difficulty. Give you two choices, die. Or become a slave. Li Hao said to Nicole lightly, domineeringly. No matter how beautiful and fit Nicole is, Li Hao has no mercy on her. If she wants to do something bad to him, she should be prepared to pay the price. Hearing Li Hao's words, Nicole's heart fell into the abyss again. Nicole looked at Li Hao and clearly felt a chill in his eyes. He must be willing to kill her. Die. Or become a slave. Is there any choice? Slave, slave. I don't want to die. Without a doubt, Nicole chose the latter. It's better to live than to die. Let's be a slave. If it doesn't work, I can regret it after returning to the family. Then the other party can't do anything to me. However, just when this thought came to Nicole's mind, Nicole widened her eyes and saw that the other party had burst out with an unparalleled force. The other party's hand kept moving in the air for a few times, and a strange wave suddenly appeared. The next moment, a contract appeared on Nicole's head, and then, while Nicole was stunned, the contract fell directly on her body, and then the other party pointed at her brow with his fingertips. In an instant, a drop of dark red blood appeared. This drop of blood was the essence of Nicole's body. Boom! Nicole's spirit suddenly shook, and the contract directly entered her body, as if it bound her soul. She felt that her life was no longer in her control. Contracted. Nicole widened her eyes and stood there blankly. She was forced to contract by the other party. Nicole couldn't believe that she had become the other party's slave. Li Hao directly contracted the other party with tyrannical means. In his heart, he had already had a connection with the other party. It was a feeling of control. The other party's life was in his mind. Even, Li Hao could clearly feel the situation in the other party's body and know the power of the other party's blood. Blood of witches and vampires. The next moment, Li Hao muttered again. From the other party's body, Li Hao clearly felt two unusual powers, which were the powers of vampires and witches. My father is a vampire, and my mother is a witch. Perhaps seeing the curiosity in Li Hao's eyes, Nicole said directly again. When Li Hao heard Nicole's words, he immediately understood. So that's it? Next, Li Hao learned a lot of news from Nicole. This Nicole's identity is also extraordinary. She is the daughter of Count Christ of the Nether Castle. Count Christ is a powerful figure in the Sunset Kingdom. His ability is a vampire. He is the owner of the Nether Castle, and his power is not ordinary. And Nicole's mother is a witch in the Misty Forest. By chance, she met Count Christ and had a romantic love story with him. The story is beautiful, but the result is not very good. The love between the two has just begun, but it has been opposed by many people, including the power of Nicole's mother. Later, Nicole's mother died just after Nicole was left alone in order to save the Count of Christ. In the end, Nicole is a miserable person. Nicole lost her mother when she was born. Thinking of this, Li Hao couldn't help but think of himself again. He was the same. He had never seen his parents, and Li Hao didn't even know whether his parents were alive or dead. If it weren't for the advent of the system, Li Hao himself would have died. For a while, Li Hao sighed. Come on me. Nicole said directly to Li Hao at this time, looking like she had no desire to live. In her opinion, she had been enslaved by Li Hao at this moment, and Li Hao must do something to her. As for what to do, is there any need to say? There is no doubt that he must have her body. At this moment, Nicole was completely ready. However, put on your clothes. Li Hao's voice sounded again at this moment. Li Hao glanced at Nicole indifferently. Nicole was not even wearing clothes. Her spring scenery was exposed, which made people's blood boil. Fortunately, Li Hao was not an ordinary person and had extraordinary self-control. When he wanted to, he would do it. When he didn't want to, no one could tempt him. Nicole was stunned again when she heard what Li Hao said. The other party didn't touch her. Is he a man? But Nicole could only think in her mind, and then she put on her clothes directly. Ding-ling-ling. Ding-ling-ling. But at this moment, a harsh sound rang out. It turned out that the alarm bell of the Harmony of the Seas rang out. Ding-ling-ling, ding-ling-ling. Ah! What happened? What's going on? Why is the alarm ringing? Dot. At this moment, a series of horrified voices rang out in various places on the Harmony of the Seas, and everyone was a little panicked at this moment. The alarm sounded, and it was obvious that something had happened. Many people ran out of the room, and some even rushed out without putting on their clothes. Rumble. But at this moment, a deafening sound rang out in this space. Next to the Harmony of the Seas, there was a sound of explosion, stirring up waves all over the sky, and the scene was very shocking. Look over there. What is that? Pirates. Oh my God, pirates. Oh no. We actually encountered pirates. Oh no. How unlucky I am. Pirates of the Caribbean. They are bad guys who kill without blinking an eye. Dot. At this time, there were more horrified voices. Someone saw that more than 10 ships appeared on the sea not far away. Those ships were extremely small in front of the Harmony of the Seas. However, on these more than 10 ships, there were towering figures, all of whom looked ferocious. I'm afraid there were hundreds of people. Moreover, the sails of these ships were hung with the pattern of skulls. Seeing this scene, many people suddenly became a little panicked. Obviously, these people are all pirates. And looking at the pattern of skulls, you can know that these pirates are the very vicious and notorious Caribbean pirates in the sea area. These pirates, who killed people, set fires, raped women, and robbed property, are simply committing all kinds of evil. No wonder the alarm bell of the Harmony of the Seas suddenly sounded. It turned out that they encountered pirates. Soon, these more than 10 ships, at a very fast speed, have surrounded the Harmony of the Seas. Some weapons and cannons are placed on them. Several of them have just been fired and exploded next to the Harmony of the Seas, causing a strong deterrent. Listen, people above. You have been surrounded by us. Don't think about escaping, you can't escape. Instead of making a meaningless resistance, it is better to surrender directly. At this time, a voice came from one of the ships. The voice was very loud, as if it had a built-in loudspeaker, echoing throughout the space.